Why am I not satisfied? I have a great husband. By great, I mean he loves me with every breath he takes. I certainly love him now and have loved him for many years. He provides the majority support for our family. The girls love him. He is a great person to be around. Neighbors don't hesitate to ask his help with anything to do with computers, and believe me, they ask a lot. I have never suspected him of wanting any other woman than me. He doesn't even flirt. Harry almost always satisfies me in bed. I know he is a pretty good lover because I had a few lovers before we got married to compare him to. Harry was the best I had ever had, but I have come to realize my knowledge base is over 20 years old. Most of our marriage, I never even thought of straying. In the last year or so, I still never figured I would risk having an affair, at least until the incident with Vincent. Understand? As I approached 45 and wasn't that far from having an empty nest, I found myself needing more confirmation that I was still an attractive woman from someone other than my husband. Although Harry always said I was prettier than ever, I see myself in the mirror. Breasts that were pert are now sagging, cheeks that were smooth are developing wrinkles. I have to dye the gray out of my hair. An ass that once fit in a chair now is beginning to go over the edges. I still can look good with makeup and the right dress, but for how much longer? I began to imagine in daydreams what another lover might do. I started thinking of indetectable ways to rendezvous with other men should I risk doing so. Other men, like TV and movie stars, entered my mind sometimes when Harry and I made love. I started dressing differently at work. Shorter skirts, bras that lifted my breasts, and one more button undone on my blouses. Compliments from men at work became more frequent. My closet changes were noticed. Vincent was a good-looking man who had flirted with me for several years at work, but I never took it seriously until one day I was feeling especially frisky. On the spot, I decided to call his bluff that we get together. He called my bluff right back and locked the door to my office. The feelings that had been accumulating for months led to a spontaneous ignition of my morals. Without thinking of the consequences, I clung to him passionately and fiercely. My clothes were thrown off, my desk was vacated, and we made love. It was fantastic. We were very lucky we didn't get caught. Our clothes were put back on in record time. He left, and I sat stunned in my chair before putting the stuff back on my desk. I had to spray air freshener to kill the smell. The excitement of what we had done was amazing. It took a good hour to get back to work mode. That supposed one-time fling left both of us wanting more. After admitting our first time had been too dangerous, we plotted a more secret repeat. Again, we were successful in pleasing each other and not getting caught. The short, secret trysts soon became just not enough for us. Vincent has come up with a scheme for us to take a cruise together. 2 weeks by ourselves with no one we knew who might report us. I have debated about how to approach Harry about being gone for 2 weeks. I guess I will take the halfway truth method. I will tell him I need a temporary trial separation to renew my old middle-aged spirits. I want time to think about the future of our family, to talk to some different people, to enjoy myself and be free to temporarily explore some new relationships with different people. Harry will get the same freedom from me while I'm gone. After 20 years of marriage and making love to only one woman, he probably would like a little vacation from marriage. I doubt that Harry will go out with another woman, much less do anything with her, as long as I'm not gone that long. He loves me too deeply that he will probably just wait and take me back. He may pout a bit, and I may have to promise not to do it again. I know Harry will tolerate a lot in order to keep the wife he loves and his family intact. Besides, he will probably realize his finances that would be greatly harmed in a divorce. That's why I'm sure he won't do anything too drastic because of my spiritual quest. I'm very sure. Now, I fully intend to go back and be a faithful wife after the cruise. In fact, I'm already looking forward to it. In fact, I plan to smother Harry with all the passion and attention he can handle when I return. I think 2 weeks of unlimited lovemaking during the cruise will satisfy my desires to the point where I will stop seeing Vincent for a long time, possibly forever. If it doesn't, Vincent and I will have to come up with an even safer way for us to meet, but I will have to avoid seeing him for a few months after I am reunited with my husband. I do not want to endanger my future of sharing my kids, grandkids, and retirement with Harry. We would have to be very, very careful. Now I just need to approach Harry in the right way, sometime when he is in a good mood. I'll know when. Harry, Janet, and I had finished a session that was somewhat like love-making. I say somewhat because I could tell Janet's heart wasn't really into it. Oh, she made all the appropriate love sounds and expressions of how good it was. However, the fake imitation almost made me laugh. Still, she was able to bring me to climax, which seemed to be her goal. As we lay on our backs in bed, she evidently thought it was time to bring up the subject I was expecting. "Harry, you know I love you, don't you?" I thought. Finally, here it comes. Thank God I'm prepared. I played along. "Yes, dear. And I know you love me, right?" "Absolutely, dear." Inside, I was begging she wouldn't go further. If there was something I really needed that would help me a lot, you would let me do it, right? "Of course, dear. What is it you want?" Like I didn't know. "I feel the need to have my life refreshed. I mean my whole life, body and soul, to reevaluate everything, including our marriage and my motherhood. I think I could do that with just a temporary trial vacation from my duties as wife and mother. You guys could probably use a vacation from me, too. We'll all feel better when I return, all rested and more committed than ever to be the best possible wife and mother. I feel I need just a little time to explore." "Wait, where are you going?" I walked out into the hallway and shouted towards the girls' rooms. "Girls, wake up, it's time. Bring your stuff down to the kitchen." "Okay, Dad, we're still awake. We'll be right there." "Harry, what is going on? Why are the girls going to the kitchen? There's no need to tell them anything now. We still have a lot to discuss. There will be plenty of time to tell them after we've talked." "Janet, our girls are part of the family you have just announced you want to change. Both of them are mature enough to understand what you want and the consequences of it. We all, as a family, need to discuss what is about to happen. I think it would be better if we all sat around the kitchen table and each of us have our chance to talk." I went down to the kitchen despite Janet's plea to talk with me privately. Coffee sounded good to me, so I made me a cup. I love the convenience of our Keurig. I didn't offer to make one for Janet. Janet seemed to be losing her courage. "Harry, you're making too big a deal of this, honey. I'm just asking for some personal time to—" "Go off with your boyfriend, Vincent, we know." Janet looked shocked. "Vincent, why do you bring him up? He's just a friend at work. I wanted time to figure out how to make love to Vincent without resorting to covert action, but still keep the opportunity with me and the girls. We know." "You know? What are you talking about? I'm just suggesting we take a little break and let me neglect your obligations as a wife and mother. Well, we're going to let you have your break, except we're calling it a divorce instead of a trial separation or vacation from marriage." "Harry, you're overreacting to what I've said. There is no reason to talk about divorce. It will just be a SEP. Girls, why do you have your suitcases?" "Girls, I'm sorry, I couldn't wait. Why don't you continue talk to your mother while I go get my suitcase?" I went upstairs, but I could hear the voices coming from the kitchen. Janet spoke. "Girls, I'm afraid your father has a mistaken impression about what I was asking for." Mandy spoke first. "Get real, Mother. We've known for months what you and Loverboy were planning." "Well, I have no idea what you're talking about." Edie jumped in. "Yes, you do. We're talking about your Wednesday lunches that turned into Wednesday quickies that is about to turn into a 2-week cruise with Vincent the Dodger." "What? You couldn't possibly know. I mean, I've done no such thing. Vincent is just someone I have lunch with occasionally." Mandy took over. "Oh, really? The first time you two decided to locate your lunch hour to a room in the Executive Inn, Dad got a call. Your office was looking for you. You and Vincent had gone over your hour lunch limit. Dad said he had no idea where you were. When you came home that night, he made up a story about calling for you after lunch and not getting you. You lied and told him you were in a meeting with your boss. That wasn't a lie. That was the truth. I was in a meeting with Mr. Albright. The secretary must have been mistaken. She's not the most reliable person in the world, you know. Edie commented. Since when did Vincent become your boss and a room at the Executive Inn become his office? Anyway, that's when Dad decided to hire a private investigator. We've got plenty of videos, recordings, and pictures. How dare you speak to your mother like that? Mandy replied. How dare you do what cheating women do instead of acting like our mother? I heard Janet respond with some anger in her voice. If your father suspected something, why didn't he say, confront me about it and stop me? He obviously didn't think it was that big a deal. I think it was Mandy who said, Mom, you have a ring on your finger that says, Dad should never tell you not to make love to another man. You agreed to forsake all others in your marriage vows. Dad said that if he had stopped you this time with Vincent, your desire for another man would only be temporarily postponed. By the time you were ready to try again, you would have learned to hide your cheating better. Well, he could have said something. He should have said something, if it bothered him that much. It just shows he doesn't care or not if I enjoy the innocent attention of another man. I don't understand why he became so jealous all of a sudden. No, Mom. He has not been saying anything to you because he needed time to prepare. His lawyer and accountant have been working on a way to stop you from getting your grubby little hands on his money in a normal divorce. He didn't want the threat of financial ruin to influence his decision about staying married or not. After a few weeks, he came to us and told us what was going on. He showed us the videos. We were disgusted with what we saw and heard. Edie and I told him we were on his side. Dad explained that modern divorce laws favored the wife no matter what she had done to break her marriage vows. Like I said, his lawyer and accountant have spent the last couple of months reducing your shared accounts. I bet you didn't know that. Thanks to you, Mom. Edie's and my college education is fully funded now. What? That had to have cost him a fortune. Where did he get the money? Oh, shit. Now I understand. He knows I wouldn't try and get your college money back. That is downright sneaky on his part. And you two have conspiring with your dad against me, haven't you? No, Mother. You and your lover are the ones who have conspired against our family to either turn a blind eye to your whoring or let you destroy us while you run away with your lover and a big chunk of Daddy's money. We have just been covering our asses. And it sure takes a lot to cover your ass, sis. Edie's comment caused them both to chuckle. Now, girls, I said as I came downstairs with my suitcases. Janet looked shell-shocked. Harry, can't we all calm down and talk about this? I admit I may have made a big mistake. I really don't want a separation, much less a divorce. I'll tell Vincent I was wrong about wanting some time with him. I'll never see him again. I promise. I never planned to divorce you or go away with Vincent. I just wanted to have a little fun with someone different. Too little, too late, dear. I understand you and Vincent have already paid for 2 weeks on the Love Boat. In my humble opinion, you two really need to enjoy the trip because I expect your lives will be considerably more difficult for you two when you return. What do you mean by that? First of all, you will have to take care of all the household chores and other duties yourself because the girls and I will be in a new condo. Secondly, oh, Dad, which one did we get? Please let it be the one with the hot tub. It was still available day before yesterday when I last checked. We may have to spend a couple of nights in a hotel suite until we know it's available or not, but I'm pretty sure we'll get the condo we wanted. The girls showed their pleasure and excitement. As I was saying, secondly, I don't imagine you'll be alone here. After all, Vincent will need a place to live. Madge told me. Madge? You know Vincent's wife? Our trip shouldn't matter to her. She doesn't care. Their divorce is almost finished anyway. I assume Vincent told you that. The truth is that their divorce was a surprise to Madge when I met with her almost 2 months ago. She's been waiting and preparing along with us to be ready to react once you two sprung the news on us. I called her a few minutes ago while I was upstairs. I imagine that Vincent is being kicked out of their house right about now. She said something about her big brother coming over to help her get rid of the trash. He told me that she had already agreed to a divorce and didn't care about us going on the cruise or anywhere else. Madge said that he told her there was a 2-week training in California he had to go to. She confirmed a week or so ago with his boss that there was no such training. She talked to Mr. Albright? Yes. Oh yeah. What a coincidence. He's your boss too. That brings us to the third thing. When you and Vincent return from your trip, you won't need to go back to work. Your and Vincent's boss has been waiting on a word from me to fire you two. He agreed to wait and has been recruiting replacements in the meantime. He wouldn't do any such thing. Vincent and I are valuable employees. You and Vincent are employees whose actions would allow Madge and I to sue your company for allowing fraternization during work time. He was quite happy when we agreed to stop the lawsuit as long as the two of you were fired. This is not the way things were supposed to be. Janet was now crying. No, you were supposed to remain a loyal wife and mother. We were supposed to grow old, retire, and enjoy our grandchildren together. Instead, you have chosen to alienate your family, greatly reduced how much money you will have, and tarnished your reputation beyond repair. Harry, I can't believe you would treat me so horribly. I thought you loved me. What more do you plan to do just to spite me? Glad you asked. If you fight the divorce, an edited version of your escapades with Vincent will go to your parents, your relatives, your co-workers, of our neighbors, and they might show up on the internet. Although given the small size of Vincent's dignity, it probably won't be too popular. This can't be happening. Harry, I still love you. I was always coming back home. I just wanted a little me time. After maybe a month, everything would be back to normal. Now you've gone all postal on me for no good reason. Surely all these years of marriage is worth cutting me some slack. You all have to give me a little forgiveness and a second chance. Actually, no, we don't. You had a second, third, fourth, and so on chances every time you decided to meet with Vincent instead of doing what a wife and mother were supposed to do. As far as what the marriage has been worth, it was worth everything to me until 3 months ago. That's when I found out that our marriage and our kids meant nothing to you, or at least a lot less than it used to. Janet, you hurt me really badly. I was so depressed that I might have done something to myself if it had been just the two of us. I considered giving in to you, but then I thought my actions would be teaching. Our girls, what you had done was okay for you, and therefore them, to do to their future husbands. I couldn't do it. I thought of going for a regular divorce, but the image of not seeing my girls whenever I wanted helped me bounce back, fighting mad. After what my lawyer told me about divorce favoring the wife no matter the adultery, I became motivated to see you and Vincent got as little reward and as much punishment as possible. I think you'll soon see we've done a pretty good job. Now listen here, Harry. You can't just take off with the kids. I'm their mother. The courts will give me custody in the defercy. I'll charge you with kidnapping if you take them away. Don't think I won't. You may be right about part of what you said. My lawyer and I, however, have made plans to delay and postpone all procedures until Edie is old enough to legally say who she wants to live with. Mandy has already signed a notarized statement. I admit you may be able to force Edie to stay with you some, but it probably won't be a good experience for you. Edie replied, Yes, Mom. Do you think I was a rude and impulsive teenager before? Wait until I start skipping school, experimenting with substances, and making love to boys. If that doesn't work, I'll complain that your boyfriend, Vincent, is harassing me with your support. So, you see, Janet, we're prepared. Are you? Evidently not as much as I thought. You were supposed to accept the trial separation and maybe be upset, but, in a few months, welcome me back like a prodigal son. No harm, no foul. I really wasn't planning a nasty divorce. I just wanted you to think a divorce was too much a price to pay for letting me take a couple of months off. Now I don't know what I am supposed to do. It's none of our business at this point, but I would suggest you try and figure out how you're going to survive with the house and its bills without a steady income. You can sell the house and receive half the equity. If it's a quick sale, you should have enough money to last until you have a new job. Janet, as Harry and the girls were about to leave the house, the phone rang. Harry said, "That'll be Vincent looking for a place to stay. Don't let him use anything of mine other than you, of course." He was gone before I could call him a name. "Hello, Janet. I guess you found out we got caught." "Yes, they just left. You bastard, this is not going at all like you said it would. I should have never fallen for your line of bullshit." "Hey, I didn't seduce you. You attacked me in your office. I may have been hot to trot, but you were flaming. It will do us no good to argue now. We need to figure out what to do to save our marriages and jobs." "Can I come over? Madge kicked me out. I really can't afford a motel." "I guess it doesn't matter now. But hurry up. I need to try and get some sleep tonight. Maybe we can do something tomorrow to save our jobs at least." Can you come pick me up? I don't have my car keys, and I don't want to go back and deal with Madge again tonight." Harry, the night of the confrontation, was the last time we were together as a family. Before the divorce hearing was scheduled, Janet disappeared. The house had sold quickly. She took her half of the equity and all our savings and checking, I guess, out of spite. I didn't worry. Most of our assets had gone for the prepayment for the girls' college. My share from the house was only about $20,000. Several years ago, we had taken a home equity loan to build a back deck and patio, so our equity at sale was lower than it would have been a few years ago. I used the money from the sale of the house to replace our emergency fund, which I had used to fund the kids' college. I didn't really need the money immediately with my income and lack of alimony payments. Another reason that I wasn't unhappy with my wife's departure was that I liked the idea of there being an outstanding warrant for my soon-to-be ex-wife for theft of my half of the savings account. It barely was enough to be considered a felony. I guessed that I would need to add lack of child support in the near future. In the end, because of Janet's actions, I decided to wait a year and go for divorce because of abandonment, which essentially confirmed the status quo and prevented her from being able to come back at me later for money or custody. I gave up having a warrant issued for Janet. I was not interested her coming back. Vincent surprisingly stayed in the area. I heard he found a lower-paying job and is living, frugally, on his own. Madge told me recently that she is engaged to be married to one of her divorced neighbors, but is in no rush. Once burned, twice shy. Good for her. The girls and I have done well. They are both in college now. Mandy graduates next year. Edie may graduate in 3 years, although she is thinking of joining the Marines. The girls friended their mom on Facebook, but do not share information about me with her, nor her with me as per my instructions. I still work at my old job and have a friendly relationship with a divorced school teacher. When my girls are gone and her son goes off to college, she will probably move in with me soon. We didn't talk about marriage, but we did talk about commitment and exclusivity. My intimate life has never been better. She's on the pill. You know I have to keep being ready. You saw this coming, didn't you? Janet, hello? Did you forget about me? Harry sure did. The girls were willing to keep up contact with me, but said their dad did not want to give info about him or receive info about me. Geez, it's like the first 20 years of our marriage was nothing. I was a good wife and mother those years, damn it. I worked hard in the home and at a job. My money, along with Harry's, went to supporting the house, the girls, the cars, and all our bills. I contributed enough that I did not feel guilty about taking the rest of our checking and savings, what little was left after Harry went crazy. Pre-funding a girls' college. Brilliantly clever move on his part. How can I argue with that? I'm not such a bad woman to go after that kind of money. I guess that's the big question. How bad a wife and mother have I been? Did I deserve all the punishment dealt me after 245 months of being good wife and mother and only 3 months of being bad? I don't care what you say. Do the math. I didn't deserve what happened to me, at least not all of it. It really wasn't 3 months of being bad so much as it was 3 months of being stupid. Vincent wasn't that good a prize. Most of his value was in the excitement of secrecy and the thrill of taking such a risk. As soon as I was confronted, the value of my relationship with Vincent shrank to almost zero. The poor sap wanted to move in with me. Said I owed it to him for ruining his marriage. Give me a break. Why did I leave town? I was a cheating wife, and he had pictures and videos to prove it. I felt like everyone knew what I had done. I didn't trust Harry not to release the videos and deepen my shame with people who knew me. He changed from being Mr. Milquetoast to Dr. Vengeance overnight. By leaving, I hoped to make a new start while waiting for Harry to mellow and consider taking me back. So, here I am waiting. I got a good job. I had worked in the financial area for a health insurance company. I was the one who had to discuss with clients why they had to pay some money even though they had insurance. I now work for a hospital trying to explain to people why they should pay the hospital some money when they have insurance. Luckily, Mr. Albright, my former supervisor, was honest about my capabilities, as well as telling why I was fired. My new boss said he was willing to take the risk of hiring me, but warned that any whiff of philandering smoke from me would be reason for him to put out the fire. I have a nice little apartment. I don't need much. I don't have much of a social life. Sadly, I spend a lot of time on a special chat site for women who got dumped for cheating. It's surprising how well I got off compared to some of the women in the chat room. Hey, I still look good. Harry knows I can be a good wife and mother because I was. Does he really want to go through the whole middle-aged dating scene and break in a new wife? I'll wait a while. I'm hoping the girls will finally crack a little more and work on their dad for me. Harry prepared for our divorce. I will prepare for our reconciliation. I've spent a lot of my time thinking about the good years. It doesn't take much. A song, a picture, a smell, a word, and I'm off into memory land. My heart feels weird, almost aching when I do that. Often I cry. I can't believe Harry doesn't do the same thing, especially when he is with the girls. How many of his memories with the girls have me in them? He has to miss me. He has to. We meant too much to each other for me not to matter to him anymore. Harry, please go to that place in your heart that wants to still love me, wants to forgive me, wants to give me a second chance. I will never betray you again. I was stupid to throw away 20 wonderful years of walking the same path together. Hopefully he won't be as stupid and let me go after such a small detour. Will he? Subscribe to our channel to keep your partner from cheating on you, and listen to the next story because this story is nothing compared to the next.